Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Infinite Snap podcast. I'm your host Richie, also known as ShadowDTV, and we've got our boy Justin here. How you doing, Justin?
Yeah, it's good. Good to be back.
Good, yeah, it's good to have you back. Unfortunately, Justin couldn't be with us last week because of time zones. We were recording with Ridiculous Hat from the other side of the world, so we had to just move a few things around. But we're definitely, Ridiculous Hat is excited to try and get us all on the show at the same time. He loves a good discussion, so it'd be good to get that going soon. Justin, what have you been up to? Been playing some Marvel Snap, I hear?
Yeah, I've been, other than Marvel Snap, I've been watching the World Cup. That's been interesting.
Oh, yes?
But Marvel Snap, yes, I've been playing. Maybe not as much as I had in the past, but still been playing.
I mean, you told me just before the show started that you hit Infinite, so, I mean, you're playing enough.
I did.
I'd say you're... Yeah.
I remember when we were talking about global launch and if it's going to be easier or harder to hit infinite with global launch, and I think I said that it's not going to change or it doesn't matter, and I stand by that.
Whoa.
After global launch, I stand by it. It has not changed. Like if you're willing to grind it out, you'll get there. It's not going to take longer or shorter. You're not going to play. You may play less bots, but still doable. Very doable.
I think what you said, you're kind of right, but I think you're right about grinding. Like, as long as you just play a lot, you're eventually going to get there. But I feel like it takes longer now than it used to. It would be interesting to see the stats actually on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I feel like it takes the same amount of time. It's just a grind. Like you just have to be smart with snapping. Like that's all it is. You gain 8 cubes, you lose 4, and then you gain 1, 2, 2. You lose a couple.
I reckon we'll set you up on snap.fan, and we'd actually be able to see how many games you played each season. It would be interesting to see actually.
So if we set that up, will that get my stats from the past?
Yes, correct.
Oh, I need to do that.
Yeah. So it won't get it won't get all the stats, but it will get like your wins, your losses, your cubes for each season.
Let's do that for the next podcast.
Yeah, well, it would actually be interesting to have a look at because, I guess you said that you didn't think it would matter, and I said I don't think it's going to be like all of a sudden it's impossible, but I thought it would be a little bit more difficult. But yeah, so we'll get into that. Let's go through what we've got for the show today. Obviously, there's some massive Marvel Snap news that came out earlier in the week. So obviously, we're going to discuss that. We're going to go through the featured location for this week and last week's location, which we didn't go through with Ridiculous Hat. We're going to go through the decks we're playing at the moment. Me and Justin are both playing a different deck than we normally do. We've got huge Marvel Snap news, 17 brand new cards coming to Marvel Snap. Some of them in the next patch, but they're all going to be coming very soon. We're going to go through how you're going to get these cards and all the changes that are coming. Collector's tokens are included in those changes, so we're going to explain how that works. We're going to discuss if we think they're a good thing. Like we've already discussed that we are happy that they're coming, but is it going to be easy or hard to get all these new cards? We'll talk a little bit about the meta. Does it feel a bit stale? We haven't really had any major shakeups since Black Panther, and I think now that we've been only getting one card each month, it's starting to get a little bit, I'm starting to feel like it's a little bit stale. Obviously, that's going to change soon. And also just discussing, like, after global launch, us beta players, we've been playing for a while, just discussing, how our interest is at the moment. Is the beta players still playing, even before this new patch? Obviously, with the new patch, there's going to be players that are going to be coming back, even if they've stopped playing for a little while, I'd say. So we're going to discuss that. And of course, we're going to play Snap Who, everybody's favorite Marvel Snap quiz. We are playing with locations now. So Justin has chosen a location. I'm going to try and guess it. It's going to be interesting because I'm really bad with locations. I when a location comes up, I know what it does, but I never remember what the location's name is, and I probably barely even remember the artwork. So we'll see how we go. We're going to roll that intro and get straight into it. All right, right, so Justin, we'll go through the featured locations. So we had Death's Domain was last week's hot location, which was on the Sunday. We didn't get to go through it because we recorded on Saturday last week. So we've actually got 3 locations to go through. Death's Domain was the, so it was a little while back. People are probably like, man, that was ages ago. But Death's Domain, obviously when you play a card there, it's destroyed. Justin, what deck did you play for that day if you played?
Yeah, so Death's Domain, which is when you play a card here, destroy it. I think we've spoken about destroy decks in the past, and they keep coming up in comments of like just how viable they are and how OP they are, or how many people can use a destroy deck, and it's so true. Like, I kind of see it more and more. So with Death's Domain, I used my destroy deck, just destroy cards. You can play Bucky Barnes here. Yeah. Is that what it is, or Winter Soldier, or the other way around?
No, you play Bucky Barnes.
Yeah, you play Bucky Barnes, and then you just get a six power Winter Soldier. Or I had Deadpool in the deck, so you just keep playing Deadpool at Death's Domain, and he keeps coming back into your hand, double the power. Yeah. Just a simple destroy deck. What about you?
I pretty much played the same thing.
Yeah.
I think I just was playing whatever I was playing at the time, and then I'm like, Deadpool's just stupid with this location. Just like keep playing Deadpool. If you play him every turn, he just gets ridiculous. So yeah, that was an interesting location, and I think it's just hitting home the point I've been making, that destroy decks seem to just always benefit from our featured and hot locations. Not always, but whenever I see deck building, it's like, oh, try this, try that, and then we always just end up with a Deadpool deck, a Venom deck, a Destroyer deck. Just seems to always be that. I think the destroy mechanic can play around locations a little bit better, it seems, almost.
Yeah, I don't think like destroy is an overpowered.
No.
Destroy deck is an overpowered deck. I just think it's probably the most. No, I wouldn't even say the most consistent, but it can probably like get around most locations. I would say.
Yeah, I think
it can play around, like, in a move deck. Locations just ruin a move deck. In an on reveal deck, I don't know. It really depends. You can get some good ones, you get some bad ones. Same as ongoing, but with destroy, you can kind of just play around the locations, I think.
Yeah, I think there's I guess maybe less locations that are hurt by it, and I guess as long as you're affecting on reveal, if you're affecting power, if you're affecting like buff to power, those sort of things just help destroy decks a lot. And it just seems like almost every location we get, it's just like, oh yeah, this works. Oh, this still works. So it's interesting. So that's what we played for Death's Domain. Not too much to say about that. Everyone was pretty much playing Deadpool Venom or trying to counter it. Then we had Vibranium Mines, which was an interesting location. So Vibranium Mines, when you play a card there, it shuffles 3 Vibranium into your deck. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. And Vibranium is a 1-cost full-powered card with the text ongoing can't be destroyed.
Yep.
But yeah, fit right into an ongoing deck. I kind of used like a ongoing deck with Wong and Spectrum.
Yep.
I think I also had Quinjet in there, which was, I saw a lot of videos about utilizing Quinjet with Vibranium Mines. So basically, if you play a card at Vibranium Mines and then you get that Vibranium in your hand, you get it's 0 power, 0 cost.
Cost. Yep.
Because of Quinjet, which was pretty cool.
Yep, for sure.
Did you do anything similar?
Yeah, pretty much exact same thing. The Quinjet play was like pretty good. I saw people messing around with it, and I saw a deck list with Jane Foster. Someone was like theory crafting, but Jane Foster doesn't consider them a 0 cost until they're in your hand. So
yeah, I actually watched your video.
Yeah. Because I'm like,
when you tried this,
I saw the deck and I'm like, I don't think that works. And I'm like I knew Quinjet worked that way, but I'm like, it doesn't make the card a 0 cost. It makes it a 0 cost in your hand.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. When it says cards that, I guess it says cards that didn't start in your deck cost 1 less, but I guess it doesn't cost 0 when it's in your deck. So it's interesting interaction, but nonetheless, Quinjet is still very powerful with Vibranium Mines. Interesting because it doesn't really help a destroy deck. I guess you could play cards there and the vibranium doesn't get destroyed. But like generally you want it
Yeah.
to be destroyed. Things like Venom. Like I'm thinking, imagine they could be destroyed, which I guess defeats the purpose of what vibranium is. But it would
Yeah,
like just
exactly.
get +4 power for a one cost card. That'd be so gross with Venom.
Yeah, I was trying to. So when this was the featured location, um, I wasn't really pushing for Infinite. I was like on the fence about whether I was going to go for it this season or not. And then I'm like, yeah, why not? I'm going to go for it. And then I started using my Patriot deck. And I just had to play around Vibranium Mines. I think like it's a location where it's not going to really affect you that much. But it can give you like, in a Patriot deck, it can give me dead draws. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't want to play at this location. I want to play around it.
Yeah, so you just played
So
the other two.
I just play the other two locations. I
Yeah.
don't want to. Yeah,
And
I didn't want to draw Vibranium.
I think once, because I played a bit of Patriot, I think at that time too, and it was like you get all the pieces in your hand, and once you have them all, then you play Patriot and stuff at
Yeah.
Vibranium Mines. Then it's like
Yeah.
fine to play cards there. But yeah, so that was that was a cool location. I thought it was fine. But the most recent location, the hot location we had on Sunday, was the Bifrost. Now, we discussed move decks last week with Ridiculous Hat. We were saying how cool the move mechanic is. But the deck is just very lackluster at the moment. So I guess the Bifrost gave it a little bit of a buff for the week. I saw people playing it with Black Panther and things like that, which people had already come up with. But I guess you just had the Bifrost to give you some more buffs to Craven. Was like, I mean, they're kind of move decks in Pool 3 are kind of like Craven decks, trying to buff Craven as much as you can. So that was pretty cool to see. Did you see any other deck recipes for the Bifrost?
No, I don't think I played much on the day of the Bifrost.
Yep.
I didn't change my deck to suit the location, and actually, maybe I saw a couple of move decks. Makes sense.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't really put two and two together because I didn't play much on that day. But yeah, makes sense. I think I saw maybe some Miles being played, Miles
Yes,
Morales,
for sure.
and probably some Craven decks.
You just get like free Miles plays when the
Yeah,
Bifrost
yeah.
activates. So yeah, that was cool. I mean, we haven't really had like, I guess move hasn't really been, I guess, given a featured location that really helps it. So I guess the Bifrost is the closest thing you're gonna get. So that was cool. I didn't really play on that day either. As you were saying earlier, you've hit Infinite. I have been super. It's not even slack. I just haven't been playing Marvel Snap anywhere near as much as I have previous months, and it's not even. I don't even think it's a boredom thing. I've just been doing a lot of other things. I've been playing some other video games, and I've kind of been playing Marvel Snap very casually this month, like kind of just at work on my lunch break. I'll play a couple games, but I think I looked at my stats and I've played like under 100 games this season. Like I've
Yeah,
actually
wow.
really like I've gone from maybe like 600 plus, almost sometimes even maybe 1,000 games in a season to like 100, which is pretty crazy. But when I do pick up the game, I actually do still feel enjoyment playing it. Like I'm not picking it up, playing
Yeah.
a game and going, oh, I'm bored of it. I just had I guess less time. I've been doing some other things. Been organizing some Dungeons and Dragons stuff, but that's another discussion. So I guess I've just been focusing on other things, but it's actually really cool that I can still pick up Marvel Snap and I'm actually probably playing it how it's intended to be played by most people. I mean, we're like super grindy sometimes, and there's a lot of people that we talk to and we discuss with that are grindy players. Whereas a lot of our friends, like even friends that have hit Infinite, I feel like there'll be months where they're going to be similar to me and like not play as much because they're doing other things. Of course, I've also got a kid, so that makes it a bit.
Yeah,
that takes up
that changes things.
that takes up a bit of time as well, for sure. But I mean, I haven't had any issue getting Infinite any other season, but I'm sitting like at like just around 70. I haven't even really thought about pushing. I've been playing random decks. But I mean, what have we got? I've got a week. Do I go for it?
Nah, that
I feel
season
like it's
where
too
I
late.
didn't hit that season where I didn't hit Infinite, I left it until I had like a week and a half, and I was around like 70, and I'm like, all right, now I'm gonna go for it. But
Yeah.
then it feels like such a chore that you don't
Yeah.
actually enjoy when you're playing
For
because you're
sure.
like, oh no, I lost those cubes. You get really like dirty on yourself.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Like it wasn't that enjoyable.
I'll get tilted as well, and then it'll just be a waste
Yeah,
of time. I've also got like a bunch of stuff on this weekend, so I'm like, I probably have like 4 or 5 days max,
yeah,
plus work and stuff. So yeah, it's probably not feasible now. I usually have fear of missing out on like card backs and things like that from other games, but I'm starting to feel a little bit less of that because I don't know. Marvel Snap feels like a more. It's not even a casual game. I think like. There's not so much emphasis on these cosmetics yet. Like I think of Hearthstone card backs. There is so much artwork that goes into making those animations, things like that, and not taking anything away from the card backs and skins and stuff in Marvel Snap, but they're not really at the same par. They're really not on par with other video games. Mind you, these games have been around a lot longer. They're, currently full screen games you can play on your PC. So I guess they take a bit more, time into the artwork. They probably have, dedicated staff to doing that. Whereas Marvel Snap are outsourcing a lot of their artwork and stuff, which is great because we're getting all this different artwork in the game. But I feel like I was like really anxious about like, oh, I'm not going to get the cool card back, but I feel like we'll be able to get it at some point down the road.
yeah. It's not too much of a big deal.
Yeah,
When I missed the Hydra one, it was like, oh yeah, no, a card back that I'm missing, but it like literally doesn't matter.
Yeah, and
It doesn't feel like it's a big deal.
the only thing I've had in my brain is like next season, if I do want to hit Infinite, I'm gonna have to grind like 60, like 50, 60 ranks. But I mean,
Ooh, that kind of sucked. I
Yeah.
did that last season. That sucked.
I'm just thinking about it. But to be fair, like I mean, I went early in the game's life. I went from like 30 to 100 in a season. Mind you, I
Yeah.
played a heck of a lot. But I guess I'm just thinking like when there's that month where I go like, oh, I've got some free time. I don't have a lot on this month. I'll just sit down on the computer and grind it, I reckon. Cool. On that, what deck you been playing this week? You said I remember you said you've been playing Patriot, but now that you've hit Infinite, playing anything else?
Yeah, so probably midway. So I finished my collection level. I think I said that in the last podcast that I did,
Yes.
maybe.
Yeah.
And then Agatha was one of the later cards that I unlocked.
Yeah, nice.
And I tried her out before I started pushing for Infinite this season, and I was like, all right, it's cool. And now that I did hit Infinite, I'm like, I'm gonna go back to playing that deck. So I've been playing a bit of Agatha.
Yep.
And it's just refreshing to play with a different deck. Like that Patriot deck, I play it because I know that I can hit Infinite with it, and I'm
Yeah.
really confident with that deck now. I know it back to front.
Yep.
I know when to retreat. I know when to snap. Playing with a deck like Agatha that is completely different, it's pretty refreshing. It's fun.
Yeah, that's cool. It's funny you say that because I still have a couple cards to unlock, and it kind of attests to
Yep.
how slack I've been with like my dailies and stuff as well. I
Yeah.
noticed that for the one of the season pass missions is complete your weekly challenge, and I still haven't done that. It's been 2 full weeks that I haven't completed the weekly challenge.
Really?
Yeah. Do you know what? I actually was really on track this week, and I was like so far ahead, and then I don't think I touched the game for like 2-3 days.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you're not even playing to do your missions?
I was playing to do dailies for maybe the first 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and now I'm like, I don't know, I've dropped off a little bit.
Yeah. See, I still, even before I tried going for Infinite and after I hit Infinite, I'm still doing my daily missions.
Yeah,
Like that's at a minimum. When I was pushing Infinite, like there was times
You're
where
playing for like hours at a time.
I was just playing for a couple of hours and I'd
Yeah.
push like 10 ranks.
yeah,
that's,
yeah.
That's pretty much the push for Infinite. Like I'd just do my daily missions and stuff, and then I'll have like this one point in time where I'll play for like a couple of hours, and just push like heaps of ranks.
Yeah, for sure.
But other than that, it's just my missions that I'm doing.
So I was looking at my season pass and how behind it is, and I realized like this week, even if I'm not pushing for Infinite, I'll just complete all of those missions. Like
Yeah,
I'll make sure that I finish the season pass for sure. Like at the minimum, I feel like each month that will be the bare minimum that I will do. Like I can't see myself not completing it because it just seems like a waste. And it's like they're not hard to do. I just haven't like really been playing. I feel like if I got on and played 10 games, I'd probably complete most of them, if not all of them.
Yeah, for sure.
But interesting that you said you've been playing Agatha because I've been doing the same. Because
Yeah, nice.
it's just like the last card I've unlocked. I only have a couple left. Magneto, Sarah's probably going to be my last card. I can guarantee it. And I think I'm like waiting on I think I need like no, I got Doctor Doom now. I need like Electro or something. Yeah, I think it's Electro.
Yeah, okay.
But Agatha's been fun. I've been playing the stupidest deck. It's not even stupid. It's like a Wave Agatha Hela deck. So basically Agatha plays discard cards and then I play Hela. Like hopefully Agatha discards herself or plays herself so I can play Hela later. But I've also got Ghost Rider in there, of course, to pull something back. I've got Shang-Chi and Enchantress in there, which is interesting because sometimes Agatha just plays them in random spots, and sometimes it works perfectly, and sometimes it just does nothing. And then I've got like Killmonger in there as well. So it's like, will Agatha play the control card that I need? Or like if I get rid of her, she just gets discarded by Lady Sif or something. That can be great because then you can draw into Hela, play Hela turn 6, bring her back plus all the other cards.
Yeah, nice.
So it's interesting. It was winning for a little while, and then I kind of went on a bit of a lose streak because I was just like, and it's like you said, playing a new deck, I don't actually know when I'm in a winning position. Like it's hard for me to gauge. Like with Patriot, I know like, oh man, I can't lose from here. Whereas right now, I'm still trying to figure out like, okay, Hela's going to bring back this and this. Like where, like if it plays it here and here, what the heck are they going to play? And it's funny because I've been coming up against Patriot decks and I have like completely been ignoring that they're going to play Ultron. Like I go like I look at the board and go, oh, they're going to play like Onslaught or something else. And then like the first time Ultron got played, I'm like, I played this deck for like a month. And then,
like I should know exactly what's about to happen.
I was like, I knew like I could have calculated everything that was like all of their power. And so then after that, every time I saw a Patriot deck, I'm like, yep, I can't win this. Bye. And of course, yes, even Hela is very RNG. The deck is pretty much like, good luck. Hope you do well.
I was going to say, you're playing Agatha and Hela.
It's great.
That is very RNG. Mine's a little different. Mine's got no 1-cost cards.
Yep.
Then it's got Domino as a 2-cost, the only 2-cost.
Why
so
Domino?
Domino comes out on turn 2, so it definitely plays Domino.
You're guaranteed to play it, yeah.
You're guaranteed to play it. So I think the theory behind this deck, and then I've got Wave and Lady Sif as the 3-cost cards. So the thing behind this deck is I don't want any other 1 or 2-cost cards in hand on turn 3 because I want Wave or Lady Sif.
Yes.
If I'm not hitting those two on turn 3, either of those two, then I'm basically just retreating.
Really? Okay.
Because like if I have 1-cost cards, just say, then on turn 3, when Agatha could play a Wave or a Lady Sif, I might get a 1-cost card, which just breaks it just doesn't work.
So my question is, so if you discard Agatha with Lady Sif, do you then play Ghost Rider to bring it back?
Then I've got Ghost Rider to bring it back.
So that's your way of bringing it back. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and if Wave is played on turn 3, then obviously Agatha gets played on turn 4.
Hear me out. Think of this. Lady Sif discards Agatha.
Yeah.
Then let's say a Halcow discards the Infernaut. And I don't know, let's say Enchantress. And then turn 6, you play Hela. You bring them all back. It's pretty.
I feel like you need too much to go right.
Yeah, you do.
Because like Lady Sif discards Agatha.
Yeah.
The theory behind this deck is I don't want any 1 or 2-cost cards, so I don't have.
Neither do I.
I don't. Oh, really? So so you don't have any of the like Moon Knight or Blade or anything like that. So you just have Halcow.
I have Lady Sif, Lady Sif, and Halcow.
Yeah, it's very risky because then I have like after that, after like turn 4, right? So I've got like an Agatha down. I've got either like a Wave or a Lady Sif.
Yep.
And I've got Domino down and potentially Ghost Rider, right? Then after that, I've got like Shang-Chi.
So same as me.
Or an Arrow as like control.
Yeah, Arrow is cool.
Because if I've played like a Ghost Rider and an Agatha, I'm winning one lane, and then like they will want to try and like I kind of can vibe where they're going to play the next card because they're either going to, I'm winning one location with Agatha and Ghost Rider so badly that they're not going to go for it. So I'll play like Arrow at one location, knowing that they'll want to play at a certain location.
That's pretty cool.
Or if I go for the Wave Agatha, then Agatha gets played on turn 4. Then I've got like Taskmaster as like a 5-drop to
Yeah, that's cool.
So like that works sometimes.
Yep.
And I've got like a Chavez just for consistency.
Yeah,
I don't know. It goes all right.
I'm running Chavez as well. But yeah, I like your one with Aero. That's pretty cool. All right. So yeah, both been playing Agatha, which is quite funny. Guys, huge news. We're gonna get straight into it because there's a fair bit to cover actually. But we're not gonna get too bogged down in stuff. But basically, we've got it'd be pretty amazing if you haven't heard already. But basically, we're getting 16 new Marvel Snap cards on the collection track, as well as the next season pass card, which is going to be Silver Surfer. So we're going to go through all the new cards. A lot of you have probably already seen a lot of these, but we're going to discuss our thoughts on them. I guess what rating we would give them. But we've also got collector's tokens, which are coming to the game. This is all in the next patch. I believe the schedule for cards is going to be each week they're going to add a new card to the game. And we're going to go through how you collect, how you can get them, and our thoughts on how you get these cards. Justin, what was your thoughts on the big news? Actually, before we get into that, if you haven't seen the announcement video, I will put it on the official Infinite Snap Twitter at Infinite Snap Pod. I will post the link there, as well as anything else we discussed today. So you'll be able to go and watch that announcement video. Justin, what was your thoughts on the big announcement? Oh, did we lose Justin? Oh, you're back.
Super hyped.
Yeah,
I
hyped.
don't know if you remember. Oh, did I drop out? Yeah. Super hyped. So, I don't know if you remember, 2 weeks ago, I said, if they drop collector's tokens, which they said that they would, I would hope that for the beta players, they would be introducing pools 4 and 5. Do you remember that?
Yes.
I called it. Just saying.
You did?
I did call it. Super hyped. It's awesome. As I've said since day one, I absolutely love the collection progression in this game. I love the collection tracker. I love the way that we unlock cards, and I am so happy that I get to continue to do that at such a high level. Because having a full collection is boring in my eyes. I love opening new cards and even having the chance to open new cards. So
which is
I think you were saying, you were telling me before, like the percentages of like
which will
the
go
chance
through.
to open new cards, which we'll go through. But even if it is the smallest chance to open new card, it still feels good that I haven't completed the collection, and I know that I'm still progressing for something.
You've got
a goal there. I'm not just doing it for nothing.
Yeah, you've got something to unlock. I mean, you kind of think of it as like it's like you've clocked the game by getting all the cards. Like, yes, you get to still play with the cards, but once you've played with all the cards, you know what they all do. It's kind of like you've to an extent figured out the game. Like, of course, there's more strategy to learn and things like that, but I definitely understand where you're coming from. So so we're on the Marvel Snap website here. The first thing it says, too long, didn't read. We're adding a new way to unlock cards, token shop, plus a ton of new cards. We'll get into what this actually means. So they've had on the development roadmap, they'd have a token shop. We would collect tokens through collector's caches, and then we would be able to purchase with these tokens specific cards that we haven't unlocked yet. So the good news is that is dropping very, very soon. So basically every 8 hours, when your missions reset and things like that, when your missions you get your new missions on that interval, there'll be a new card available in the token shop. You'll be able to spend the required tokens to get that card and unlock it straight away. And the cool thing is, if you don't have enough tokens to get the card, you can actually pin it in the store and it will stay there until you have enough tokens to then purchase it and unlock it. So it means you're going to be able to target cards. You know, if you're towards the end of your collection, there's going to be less cards that you need to unlock, which means you're going to have they're going to come up more often in the shop, which is really cool. But even if you're early in pool 3, you're still going to be able to, I guess, have some more options. You're not just getting random cards anymore. You're going to have a little bit of a say, which I think is really, really cool. So we've got the I don't know if it has the numbers here yet, but from what I saw, it was
so I can give you the numbers.
Yes,
so,
it was go for it.
If you're so when the patch drops, if you're between collection levels 500 and 999, we're going to get 3,000 tokens.
So this
if you're between 1,000.
So this is just to let everyone know, you're going to get these tokens no matter what. Like, they're going to be straight into your account.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're 1,000 to 3,000 collection level, you get 6,000 tokens. And if you're 3,000 plus collection level, you get 12,000 tokens. Now, in terms of how much the card's actually going to cost to unlock, a Series 3 or a Pool 3 card is going to cost 1,000 tokens.
Yep.
Series 4 card is going to cost 3,000 tokens. And a Series 5 card will cost a massive 6,000 tokens.
So I think it's interesting,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
because it was kind of like, are we just going to all start on 0 collector's tokens and then have to go from there? But I think the way they've done these different costs, it means if you're in pool 3, you're only going to get that 3,000 tokens, which means you're going to be able to purchase 3 cards. Whereas for I guess us going into pool 4 and pool 5 cards, it means we'll be able to purchase 4 pool 4 cards or 2 pool 5 cards, which is kind of pretty like it's good. It's good because the pool 4 cards and pool 5 cards, which we'll get into, as they've called it in the official announcement, they call them series. It was interesting to finally get some say on what the dev team call these pools, because it's never been officially announced. So I
find that crazy. Like they've never spoken about the pools or the series before, like officially.
Yeah,
like
but that's because we, like, the community are the ones who just figured that out. It was never a thing in the game. It was just, hey, up until this level, I got these cards, and then someone else realized, hey, yeah, so did I. And then it wasn't until we realized, pool 3 is just a crapshoot. You just get whatever you get. It's just all luck based.
So the only thing that I'm wondering in regards to these tokens now is how many tokens we're actually going to gain as we progress through the game. So I think they've said that collection tokens will replace boosters on the collection tracker.
So it's right here. So we've got it here.
Okay.
Collector's tokens are replacing boosters in collector's caches and reserves. So exactly what you've said. Collector's caches and reserves will have a 25% chance to drop 100 tokens. But once players have all of the Series 3 cards, they'll have an additional 22% chance to get 400 tokens, a significant increase. So you're looking at... So they'll have an additional 22% chance to get 400 tokens. So you're getting 100 tokens every... 25% chance, so every 4 caches. And then once we get to finish pool 3, you're getting a bit more than that. So, like, realistically, you're still going to have to open a lot of caches to buy a card. Like, if we're talking Series 5 at 6,000 tokens, even getting 400 tokens, you're still going to need to do that, 12 times?
Yeah.
No, more. That's even more.
Yeah,
so,
way more.
But
they've said, and I completely stand by their decision on this, like, this is not meant to be the primary way that you unlock cards.
Yes.
This is just meant to, help you out, I guess, put you at a bit of ease. If you really do want to unlock a card really, really badly, this is the way to do it, because you might not unlock that card for weeks or months. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It's just like a bonus way, I guess, of unlocking a card that you really want. So I think it's definitely a good addition to the game.
Yep.
And it's probably going to be like a trial and error thing. Like, they may see that, people aren't getting enough collection tokens as they progress through the game, so let's up that a little bit. But I think it's definitely the right move, and it's the right way to move forward that they're going for.
Yeah, I think when we get further down into here, that it kind of exactly what you've said will be explained. You can see here it says you'll get them all eventually, and we'll go through what they mean by that. Like, obviously, it's that whole thing of you might not be able to get the cards straight away, which is how Marvel Snap's entire business model has been. You don't just unlock every card, play the game for a month, and then put it aside because there's no new cards. It's all about drip feeding content rather than just giving it to the player instantly. And that's the thing. Like, in Marvel Snap, it doesn't matter how much money you have. You can pump a bunch of money into the game, but you still need to actually play the game to get the boosters to then upgrade the cards. There's caps on credits and things like that, and how much gold you can purchase for this reason, because just giving you everything at once ruins the experience of Marvel Snap how it's intended. So, which is, Justin, that's the thing you love about the game. So I'm glad they're keeping that that spirit in this Series 4 and Series 5 cards. So we're calling them series now, Justin, I think.
Nah, I still love to call them pools.
All right,
I feel
all right,
like
all right.
pool is what
We'll
I'm
call them,
sticking with.
I'll call them series for now while we're reading this, because that's what they're calling them. But we'll stick with pools, I guess, until the community change their tone on it. We're calling them pools. So they've said here, get ready for more cards. 2 new series of cards for Series 4, Series 5, or pools as we've been calling them. So Series 4 cards, there's 10 new cards. We'll go through them in a moment. They are considered rare. So unlike earlier series, these are found only in collector's reserves. Whether you have all the Series 3 cards or not. So even if you are still collecting Series 3 cards, you can get a Series 4 card, which is really cool for the players that weren't in beta. The players, the majority of players are from global launch. They're going to have the chance to get these cards just like us, which is cool. But these cards are quite rare. They are 10 times rarer than Series 3 cards. So if you are looking for something specific, the best way to get it is going to be to target it in the token shop, because 10 times, it's pretty rare. I think the number is 2.5% in a collector's case. Is that right?
Yeah, I think we worked that out before. That is extremely rare.
It is. Like, considering that once you get above level 1,000, your collector's caches are every 12 levels.
Yep, every 12
so
levels.
So you're talking, I guess, 2.5% chance. That's what, 1 in 40? 1 in 40 collector's caches. That's
1 in 4. Yeah, 1 in 40 collector's
It's 1 in
caches.
40.
Yes.
And that's 12 levels. Oh man, it's like 480 levels.
Yep.
Yeah.
480 levels.
480 levels is like your, and that's there will be, we have been told there will be a pity timer on this. So if you get to that 40th cache and haven't unlocked that Series 4 card, you will get one. I'm not sure if that's for everyone or only people that, I believe that might be only for people that have completed pool 3, I would assume. That probably makes sense.
It would have to be, because otherwise they would just be, there's a pity timer on pool 3 cards.
Yeah,
so
that's
otherwise
right.
they would just be unlocking a pool 3
yeah,
card.
so I would have to confirm that, but I believe that's how it will work. So that's the Series 4 cards. There's 10 new cards. We'll go through all of them. And then there's the Series 5 cards, which are ultra rare. There's going to be 6 cards launching. That's going to include Thanos and Galactus, which is really, really cool. These are the rarest cards in the game. They can only be found in collector's reserves, but they're 10 times rarer than the Series 4 cards. Wow. So that's like super, super rare.
10 times rarer. So does that mean that, like, we just said,
it's like
480 levels?
So
is that like 4,800
okay.
levels that you have to go through?
So Series 5 would be what, 0.25% chance?
Yeah.
So do the math. What's 0.25? I guess you're right. 4,800 levels.
Yeah, I'm running with it. Which I've unlocked my whole collection, and I'm at like collection level 3,000. It's like I haven't even gotten to 4,800.
Man, that's pretty rare. So I guess the caveat to this again is you can buy them with collector's tokens. Yes, they're 6,000 tokens, but I mean, if you're playing a ton, you're going to get these tokens eventually. You're not going to be waiting 4,000 levels to actually get one of these cards. The thing is, there is no pity timer for this, unlike the Series 4, so you're not going to get any handouts, unfortunately. But like they've said, these are super rare cards, and none of this actually matters as much as we think when we get to the next part of the article, which explains that over time, cards from, well, it says some cards will be moved from Series 5 to Series 4, and cards from Series 4 will be moved to Series 3. So what this means is, I guess they're almost timed in their exclusivity. So cards that are ultra rare, that 0.25% chance of unlocking, will eventually become a Series 4 card and have a 2.5% chance, and then potentially further down the line become a Series 3 card or Pool 3 card and be much easier to get. So assuming that it's, maybe Galactus and Thanos stay Series 5 forever, but assuming that these cards all eventually go down in their rarity, I guess it will mean, okay, maybe you don't get the card as soon as it releases, but maybe in 3 months, maybe 6 months, they haven't actually given us a time frame, you will be able to get these cards a lot easier. which I guess
Yeah.
it comes down to that whole thing of not giving you all the cards straight away. But say 10 new Series 5 cards come out. They go, well, this is the hot new cards that people want. Let's make those Series 5 cards Series 4 now. And they're a lot easier to get. What's your thoughts on that?
I think I like the direction they've gone with this because they can't just keep they've made Series 5 extremely rare to get,
Yep.
and which is a good thing, because then when you do come across a Series 5 cards, or even if you come across an opponent who's using a Series 5 card, you go, oh wow, that's like awesome.
Yeah.
And it just keeps the game really relative because that I think by doing what they're doing, reducing the Series 5 cards to Series 4 and Series 4 to Series 3, they're not limiting themselves, because then if they didn't do it this way, what are they going to do then? Make like a Series 6 or a Pool 6 and have like cards that are going to, you can't unlock on the collector's case, and you have to do like something to get them, you know what I mean? Like they can't continue doing that. So I think it's smart what they're doing. They're just keeping the game like really relative. And yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea in that, and like they've said here that it's a whole new system, and so yeah, they're almost like timed exclusives. They're not exclusive; you can get them, but it's if you're happy to wait, then you will get the card either cheaper with your tokens, or you'll just naturally unlock it. So it's kind of like a pay your tokens now to play with the card now. So I guess if you're not a hardcore Marvel Snap player, you might just naturally unlock a couple, purchase a couple Series 4 cards and wait till those Series 5 cards drop down to Series 4. Get them for 3,000 tokens. You could potentially, like, they haven't actually told us the schedule, but let's say they release a card each month. Let's say maybe 3 months later they drop down a series. Like if you're happy to wait 3 months, you might be able to get these Series 4 cards for 1,000 tokens, which is like pretty cool, I guess. The problem is we don't actually have that time frame. So when we do find that out, I guess it'll give us a lot more clarity. And I just want to shout out to all those free-to-play players. Most of us probably by now are purchasing the season pass for the new card. But for those that aren't, don't worry. Don't feel too left out. These season pass cards will, at the end of the season, go into Series 5. So you will be able to purchase them with tokens, but they will be 6,000 tokens. So you'd have to be very selective with the cards that I guess if you don't purchase a season pass, what cards you actually want to have. And I guess the same thing, timed exclusive for that month, they'll only be in the season pass, then Series 5, then eventually you'd assume Series 4, maybe, in a year's time, Series 3. So you're not missing out. You're going to be able to get the card. And it says it here again. You get them all eventually. You might get them all in a month if you drop a bunch of money, or you'll get them in 6 months. But, you're always going to be, you're not going to fall behind. Like, they're not going to release 30 new cards and you have none of them. You're going to be able to get some of them straight away with your tokens. And as they release cards, you'll be catching up all the time. So you'll always be maybe a little bit behind, but never, you're not going to be missing 30 cards like you are when you hit pool 3.
Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah,
to be honest,
it's funny
always
because
always on the chase for more cards, but never completing that collection. Like I like being towards the end of the scale where I'm like almost completed my collection, and I can look back and be like, wow, look at all these cards that I have, and I can create most decks and whatnot. But I don't want to actually have the whole collection, because then I feel like I've, like you said, completed the game, and I'm not really doing anything else. So I think it's a good model that they're going for.
Yeah, I think it's they've obviously thought about it. They've been testing things, so we'll see. And the cool thing about a live service like this is they can change things. They can adjust cards. They can move them from the pools if something's they could potentially make some like strong pool 3 cards into pool 4, which I know no one's going to be happy about, but. I mean, there's wiggle room for them to do things. Let's get into the actual cards because there's a bunch of them.
I think first I just want to go through Silver Surfer because I don't think he's on.
Oh, yes, you're right. So
That
that won't
list,
be in the
is he?
article.
Yeah.
So Silver Surfer is
So-
going to be next month's season pass, which is only in like a week. So yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I've got Silver Surfer. So he is a 3-cost 0 power.
Yep.
And his description is on reveal, give your other 3-cost cards plus 3 power.
Cool. So and you said he's a 3-cost card.
He's a 3-cost.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
But
potentially
he says give your other 3-cost cards.
Yeah.
Plus 3 power. So not himself.
Yeah. So I guess I guess him being 3-cost means on turn 6 you can play a 3-cost, play Silver Surfer. You've got, you can play him earlier, reactivate him with Odin. So what's some good 3-cost cards? I guess you've got like Brood would give you, all of those would get a buff.
Yeah, the first thing that comes to my mind is a 3-powered Cerebro deck. Because actually no, that doesn't work.
No, it wouldn't work.
That's 3-cost, not 3 power.
Yeah, it's 3-cost.
3-cost
So
cards.
think Brood. So Brood works because he splits himself to 3. So they're all 2 power. They're all 3-cost. So they would all get that buff.
Yeah.
So what's the buff? Plus 3.
Plus 3.
So they would all get to 5. That's already 15 power at one location.
Yeah, that's pretty over.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
What else you got? Let's bring up the 3-cost cards. Yeah, have a flick through, see what you can find. While you're doing that, I'm going to get into the actual Series 4 cards. But yeah, so I guess that ability is really going to be targeted around 3-powered cards. I guess you can still play things like Blue Marvel that can also add, I guess, buffs. I don't know how great that would be. But I mean, it's a powerful ability.
There's nothing great. Like, there's nothing crazy to be honest.
But think about it. You could definitely go Wong. Like Wong's just, everyone talks about Wong with on review. You can definitely go Wong, Silver Surfer, Odin, and just win an auto win.
I guess there's like, your Thors, the Deathlocks, your
Deathlocks 5 power.
What else? Your Lady Sifs, Kingpins, Cyclops, Wave, Killmonger,
Waves
Juggernaut, Storm, Cosmo. Like, there's a few good cards there.
Yeah, I think it'll be, time will tell how good it will be. I think the Wong combo is pretty good, but I mean, anything comboed Wong Odin is generally pretty powerful. Like, is it better than the other combos we have right now? I guess we'll find out.
Also, just like a fun fact, I guess, this card has been data mined in the past.
Yeah,
and it's actually completely changed. So it used to be a 4-cost 0 power.
Yep.
And the ability was on reveal double the power. Of all 6-cost cards.
I remember that because I did these videos and I remember that was it doubled the power. It's
double the power of 6-cost cards. That is a really strange ability.
It's such a weird card. I think this makes a lot more sense. But yeah, cool card. Silver Surfer's a cool character, so we'll see how that goes. All right, so this is the 10 cards from Series 4. These are going to be rare. They're not going to be like super, super hard to get, but you're still not going to get all 10 on day one. We've got She-Hulk, 6-cost card, 10 power. Costs 1 less for each unspent energy last turn. Thoughts on this card, Justin?
It's kind of fine, but not great. The only real synergy I see is like with Sunspot, which is similar to like an Infinite kind of strategy, but like still like it honestly not that great.
Like, think about it. Let's say without playing anything that gives you more energy like Electro or Psylocke, if it's turn 3 and you don't play anything, turn 4 you can play She-Hulk for 3 power. Like
but then you're basically spending your whole turn 3 and 4 to get a 6/10 on the board. Like it's not great. It's not amazing, to be honest.
I'm sure there's some other synergies, but
I mean, there's that Silver Surfer synergy. If you can get She-Hulk out on turn 4, then you get Silver Surfer out. Oh, actually, no, that doesn't work.
That doesn't work anymore.
Yeah,
that's the old ability.
That's the old ability.
The old ability.
Yeah, I don't know. She-Hulk, not that great.
All right, so She-Hulk, pretty straightforward. The energy you don't spend the turn before it makes She-Hulk cheaper. 10 power, like for a 6-cost, is pretty average. You probably don't want to be playing her. I mean, it's actually okay. Like, I guess if you play her as a 6-power card, it's just a slightly better Chavez, but you don't draw it on turn 6, which I guess makes it worse.
It's okay. Maybe it's like you just chuck her into that deck, and because you can play her on turn 6. It's just like you're just kind of filling in a bit of the
a
curve.
slot,
Like
yeah.
then, if you manage to get her out early, you can, and if you don't, then you've got 10 power on turn 6. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
all right.
we'll see where that fits. Next up, we have She-Hulk's rival, Titania. When any card is played at this location, this card switches sides. This is a 1-cost card, 5 power. What's your thoughts on this ability?
Super, super interesting. Really, really different. The synergy straight away that I see is you just play a 0.
Yep.
A 0 with this card, so then you get the 1/5 on your side of the board,
Yep.
and 0 will cancel or remove this card's ability.
Yeah, I think. Yep, for sure.
It's super risky otherwise playing it.
I actually think it's a really good card, and my reasoning for it is, it only costs like we don't have any 1-cost cards with this much power. And my thought process is, if your opponent has a location that they fill, you can just play this there and it won't go to the other side.
That's cool as well, actually.
So yes, you could play 0, but you've also got, like, think how many decks are just like swarming the board. They fill up a location. You can be playing this on like turn 5 as, you know, you play a 4-cost card and a Titania. And then also there is that synergy of, you know, you can send that to your opponent's side. Say they've even got 3 cards there, yeah? You could play a card. You could play Titania. They either play a card there and you keep Titania, or even if you play another card there, Titania goes there, you play another card, she comes back. Like, there are ways that you can, I guess, ensure that she ends up on your side of the board. I guess you have agency on keeping her, which is kind of really good. Like 5 power, and you think this gets buffed by Kazaa? Like, you can just put this in a Kazoo deck.
It's not a bad card. Like, it's a good card.
I think it's a really good card. Like, I know we think of these 1-cost cards and go like, oh yeah, but it doesn't do like crazy things. But for 1 cost, 5 power is nuts. Like, what's the highest 1-cost card without any conditions? Like, yes, she has a condition, but we can play around it. Like, what, 3 power maybe?
Maybe a 1/7 Ebony Maw.
with an awful condition. And think about it. Ebony Maw is only 2 power more, and you can no longer play cards there. Like, like if you play,
it's a good card.
It's a good card.
You don't have to convince me. It is a good card.
Okay, so no, I am.
It can be played around. You know, the ability can be played around.
Yeah, you know when you're playing it, so you can make sure that your opponent doesn't get a chance to keep it. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting how that works. Luke Cage, 2 cost, 1 power. The ability is ongoing. Your cards can't have their power reduced. Now, I also think this is a pretty good card.
Yeah, I really like this card.
Yeah. I think
I really, really like this card.
We discussed it with a friend who came up with a decent strategy with it. What's your thoughts on the actual card? And then we'll talk about that.
So, I just think, put aside, you know, the ways that your opponent can reduce your card's powers.
Yep.
I just think with Marvel Snap alone, locations can greatly affect what you do and like your side of the board.
Yep.
And so often I come across locations where it's like, the card's here a -1 or -2 or -3, and Luke Cage would just like and it's ongoing, so you can drop him turn 2 or turn 6, and you know all of your cards in certain locations would just have their power back to normal, back to what they were.
Is that how it would work? Yeah, it would, wouldn't it?
I would assume so.
Yeah, your cards can't have their power reduced, so if they have had it reduced, it would remove it.
Yeah, it's ongoing. The same effect as like
for sure.
As Colossus.
Yeah,
and he doesn't get affected by those locations. So like I assume that's what it would do. And I already think like that's an amazing ability.
For sure.
But yeah, you can go through what our friend said, and that was like a pretty cool concept.
Did you read it? Yeah, so
pretty cool deck idea.
The idea was Hazmat is on reveal, all cards get -1. If you have like Luke Cage out, you have Wong, you have Hazmat, you have Odin. Like, your opponents, just all their cards are like -1, repeat it, like -8.
Yeah, something like
that. And none of your cards go negative. That's ridiculous.
It's pretty good deck idea.
That sounds like such a.
I rate it.
That sounds like such a fun deck because you don't even need to play cards to win. You can have empty locations that you will win because their side of the board will go into the negative.
Is negative. Yeah.
You just win all 3 locations. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's a really good deck
Dude,
idea. So yeah, I think Luke Cage is awesome.
Yeah, I think it's a great card. Some cool synergies. At first, when I looked at it, I didn't think much of it, but after realizing like as long as we have cards to reduce our opponent's power as well, I like this. This just is good. So it's going to be interesting.
Like, Typhoid Mary is like a solid 4-drop, but she reduces your card's cost by 1, and this would just block it.
It's great.
Like, stuff like that. It's a pretty good card.
I think Luke Cage is going to be a fun deck. Like he's going to enable some decks, which is going to be really cool. Yeah. Next up, we have Absorbing Man. This is a 4-cost card, 3 power. On reveal, if the last card you played has an on reveal ability, this card copies it. Straight up, this is, I guess, the equivalent of a Mystique, but for on reveals. What's your initial thoughts on Absorbing Man?
Oh, I think I probably don't understand its full capabilities just yet. Like, I think there's going to be some broken combos with this. I think anything that copies, anything like Mystique is like overpowered. Not overpowered, but like so versatile. And I think this will be the same.
Yep.
Just the copy on reveals.
So it is a 4-cost card. So I guess if you were playing it on turn 4, you're copying cards generally that are 3 cost. But I guess you could also play this on turn 6, which is pretty crazy. Like, I mean, let's say you had a way to play Arnim Zola at 5. You could then just do that again. You could reactivate Odin. Like, if you got Odin out early, you could just Odin again. You can... it's pretty nuts, isn't it? You can, like, play Black Panther. Then Absorbing Man does a Black Panther. He's only 3 power. Yeah, I don't think we've fully realized. I'd have to actually look at the card pool to think, but on reveal combos can already go crazy. And I feel like adding Absorbing Man is just going to be nuts. Like, Wong turn 4, play an on reveal turn 5, play Absorbing Man turn 6, copy that on reveal again. It could get
even
pretty nuts.
Simple ones like playing a kind of like a Kazoo deck with like a Wolfsbane or something.
Yep.
And then playing like Wolfsbane on turn 3 and then Absorbing Man on turn 4.
Yeah.
If you can get like a few cards at like 2 locations and then Wolfsbane both of those locations, like it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
You're right. Wolfsbaning
like that.
Wolfsbaning
or like Ironheart or something like that. It's pretty good. Yeah.
I guess you would be like, you would have these big combos, but you'd also have those small combos that still make Absorbing Man like a utility. I think it's going to be a really cool card. I reckon we might end up with a broken combo at some point, but we'll find out. I think like these cards are really cool, but I guess it makes it really hard for the dev team because if they make a really strong on reveal card that Absorbing Man can abuse, same with Mystique.
Yeah.
Like Wong Mystique can do some ridiculous stuff. Obviously, I guess the counter to that is that they have added cards that can stop this stuff. Like if they play a Cosmo, Absorbing Man dead at that location. The thing is, though, it's if the last card you played, so like Mystique, you can play Absorbing Man at a different location. So Cosmo, I guess, they'd have to be really smart with their Cosmos. Whereas I think it's a bit easier to you Enchantress after, so not so much. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting what happens with Absorbing Man.
I'm also trying to think of some other crazy stuff. Like, what about in like a Destroy deck?
Yep.
And then you could copy like a Deathlock, a Killmonger, a Venom, a Carnage. Like, imagine that.
You could copy
that's
Carnage.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's always like Destroy, isn't it?
A Taskmaster or something. You know, you get like a huge Venom on the board, like a 50 Venom.
Taskmaster.
And then you go Taskmaster turn 5, and then Absorbing Man turn 6. You get like Venom's power on all 3 locations.
That's like you can Arnim Zola. You can Arnim Zola the Venom, but then your backup could be like a Taskmaster Absorbing Man.
Yeah,
and you just have Venom at all 3 locations.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's interesting. I like it. That's actually
pretty cool.
Like say you get a 30 power Venom, you copy it Taskmaster, you copy it to the 3rd location. All right. Absorbing Man.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Maria Hill, 2-cost card, 3 power on reveal, add a random 1-cost card to your hand. Now, I don't think I had a lot to say about this card when I saw it, but I think it's actually okay. Like, I don't think it's anything special, but I feel like there's decks that you can play. Actually, my gripe with it was you get a random 1-cost to your hand, but it's not a 1-cost card. So if you were trying to play like a Khazar deck, it doesn't fit in very well. What do you
Yeah.
what do you think Maria Hill's use is?
Maria Hill, I just feel like it's that 2-drop that gains you cards just to fit straight into like a Devil Dino deck.
For
It's kind of
sure.
like Agent 13.
Yep.
But it's a 2-cost. You
But,
know what I mean?
but my,
It's like I don't think you're gonna use that 1-cost card. Like that's not what these cards are for. It's just to gain a card in your hand.
so that's my question. Do you think this is better because you get a 1-cost card, or is Agent 13 better because it's a random card? Like this, you're more likely to play the card that Maria Hill gives you because it's cheap.
Yeah, that's true.
But then you can also get some really good cards with Agent 13. I guess Agent 13, the scope's so wide that the card you get is probably generally not going to be useful.
Yeah, I reckon Maria Hill is probably better than Agent 13.
Okay,
You're probably like you said, you're more often going to use the one cost card that you get from Maria Hill than the random card that you get from Agent 13, just because that Agent 13 card could be like a 4, 5, or 6 cost that you just can't fit into your curve.
Yep, so we're saying like Devil Dinosaur deck, slot it straight in.
I think just slot it straight into a Devil Dino deck.
Yep. All right, not too much to say about that. Next up is Agent Coulson. You're going to see a bit of a theme with these few cards. They're all kind of related to each other. Agent Coulson is a 3-cost card, 4 power. On reveal, add a random 4-cost and 5-cost card to your hand. So again, adding cards to a hand, 2 cards for 3 cost. Pretty good for Devil Dino as well. What's your thoughts on Agent Coulson?
Again, I think pretty good for Devil Dino. Also, like if you can get a collector out on turn 2, then Agent Coulson is really good. Fits into that kind of deck. I think it also, I know you can't rely on these cards that you get, but because it's kind of like a controlled draw, it fits right into your curve. You play him on third turn, and then you get a 4-cost for turn 4 and a 5-cost for turn 5. If you can make that work, like if you can play those cards, I know you can't rely on it, but it's got some consistency to it, which I like.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's very much in the vein of like Agent 13 and stuff, where it's going to give you cards that you can play, but the chance that they're going to be useful is going to probably be less often than it will be useful. But I think, again, Devil Dino, like it probably works. We've also got Nick Fury that we got from the season pass, which is very much in this vein where you play it. It's the 5-cost card, but you get 3 random 6-cost cards. Again, just adding cards for Devil Dino. Is it too much card addition though? Because you can only have 7 cards in your hand. That's where it gets a bit interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it's too much, because you're probably not gonna play with all of these cards in the deck.
Yeah,
you know, you're not just gonna have a Devil Dino with all of these kind of
10
cards.
cards that add cards to your hand.
You'll switch it up a bit. There'll probably be a few different variants of the Devil Dino deck, which include different copies of these cards.
Yep, for sure. I think it's a fine card. I don't think it's going to be like super broken or anything. I can't really think of any crazy combos. But yeah, Agent Coulson. Next up, we have Helicarrier. This is a 6-cost card, 10 power. The ability is when you discard this from your hand, replace it with 3 random cards. Again, kind of fitting into the same theme. You've got this whole shield theme happening here. When you discard it, it replaces with 3 random cards. So I guess if you have a consistent way, like Lady Sif will discard Helicarrier, you get 3 random cards that can buff the collector, like we mentioned with the other cards. You're getting 3 cards in hand for Devil Dino. What's your thoughts on Helicarrier?
It's very niche. Like I guess it can fit into a Devil Dino deck, but then you have to have a way to discard it.
Yeah, which is, I guess Lady Sif would be the most consistent way.
Sif. Yep. But then, like, how far do you go? Like, then would you also put in like a Ghost Rider to get like a 6/10 back on the board?
Would it get it back though? Because this says when you discard this card from your hand, replace it with 3 random cards. Does that mean it's considered discarded still?
When you discard this from your hand, replace it with
it doesn't
3
say
random
it
cards.
doesn't say it doesn't say add 3 random cards to your hand. It says replace it. That almost, because it's like, I think of like Apocalypse. When you discard Apocalypse, it says return it to your hand. So you never actually discard it?
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be the best card. I feel like this is probably on the bottom end of the scale of those kind of cards.
I actually think it'll be fun, and I think it'll be. I actually think it'll be all right. Mainly because if you don't discard it, just like She-Hulk, you end up with a 6/10, which isn't awful.
Yeah.
Like it's not it's not the end of the world, especially if you play Devil Dino, you're adding other cards to your hand with Agent Coulson, Maria Hill, other cards. Then you play Helicarrier and it's fine. I don't know.
It's okay.
I think it'll be fine. I don't think it's like as broken or anything. I can see there's probably going to be some combo that we're missing. But yeah, that's Helicarrier. Next up, we have M'Baku, a 1-cost card, 2 power. If this is in your deck at the end of the game, it leaps to a random location. I can't see any synergies with the card. Seems kind of bad. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a really strange one. Like, I'm sure there's some kind of deck that it'll be useful in, but I can't really see it. I mean, it can fit into like a
maybe a Lockjaw deck.
What's the card? Like a Lockjaw, or like an Electro deck where you can only play 1 card per turn. But then like adding the 2 power is not really great. Maybe a Lockjaw deck probably fits better.
I was just thinking Lockjaw, like you swap it, you get something good, and then you get a 2 power bonus at the end.
Yeah, but then what if the card, like, what if you play a Wasp? That's what Wasp is for, and then you get a M'Baku out. Like, then it's kind of like, oh.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah, interesting card. I'm not entirely sure of synergies, but yeah, that's M'Baku. And guys, if you want to check out all these cards again, they'll be on the official Twitter at Infinite Snap Pod. Next up, we have Atuma. If you have 4-cost card, 10 power, if you have another card here at the end of your turn, destroy this. Very similar to Namor in that this card needs to be on its own to get, like, to have a strong card. Obviously 10 power for 4 cost is very cheap. Namor, obviously it has 9 power, and if you play another card there, it goes down to 5. So very similar in that vein. What's your thoughts on Atuma?
It's a strong card. I just feel like disruption decks, or like anything that runs Green Goblin, Hobgoblin, or Debris will just like ruin this card.
Yeah.
But it does have synergy with like Zero again, who will negate that effect, or armor, or like or probably those 2 cards has a bit of synergy with because 4 energy for 10 power, it's pretty good.
With armor, it's pretty strong, hey?
Yeah, it's pretty strong. Like if you can go for like an armor and a Tuma, like maybe it fits into a destroyer deck. This is like a 4-drop instead of Warpath.
Slightly stronger than Warpath, but I guess Warpath is easier to pull off. Well, actually, no, because you're going to play. No, because you have to play armor.
You have to protect Warpath anyway. So, like, maybe this fits into a destroyer deck.
Yeah, I like that. Instead of Warpath, it's just a better Warpath, slightly better. But yes, you're right. In other decks, I feel like it's just way too easy to kill, which would suck. So
you have to somehow get around that. That ability.
I think with Zero, it's probably like not the worst idea. Like it's just like another Zero target. You've got like Red Skull, you've got Typhoid Mary, you have Atuma.
Yeah,
like you just with Atuma, like you can just if you have another card here at the end of your turn, it gets destroyed. You just protect it, or you just use Zero to block it. Oh, we've lost Justin. His streak has continued. His streak has continued. Check 1, 2. Hey. Oh, he's actually like, I think we've actually fully lost him. Have we? I think we've lost him. Oh no. Well, guys, we'll wait for him to come back. Luckily, a podcast can be edited. Guys, what's your thoughts on these cards so far? Are we vibing with them? I think some of them are really, really cool. I think some of them are going to be kind of average. But like I think we've got some really, really good cards here. So it's going to be interesting to see. I can't wait for them to actually release. We'll get Justin back in a moment. I reckon his internet's just like completely crashed. Is interesting. He's like fully gone. Is it? His internet woes have continued. We'll see if we get him back in a moment. What's the name that explodes and gives you extra points on all cards? That's Kaven, that is Nova. Nova, when he's destroyed, he gives everyone +1. Good card. Fits into a destroyer deck, as we have established with all our cards. Let us I think his internet is like fully cut out, which is interesting. Maybe he is. I'm going to message him, find out what has happened. He usually has some internet issues every now and then, but I don't think we've ever had a full dropout like this. So that's a interesting one. So what have we gone through so far? We've had She-Hulk, Titania, Luke Cage, Absorbing Man, Maria Hill, Agent Coulson, Helicarrier, M'Baku, and Atuma. I think out of all of these, the best one so far is maybe Titania. Like, I know it's only like it's not like a super game-changing card, but I think it's really strong. Luke Cage, I'm really, really excited to try out. I reckon that's going to be a great card as well. And Absorbing Man, I feel like the potential is kind of crazy, but I think Justin is he'll be back. He's fixing his technical issues. I think Absorbing Man is going to be a really, really strong card as well. I think there's some crazy synergies that we just haven't thought up yet. Maybe the community already has. I haven't seen them yet. And then we've got like all of these like shield orientated cards. It's interesting they're dropping them all at once. Like, I feel like Nick Fury could have just fit into here as well instead of like as a season pass card. But that's fine. Atuma does sound like, I think Justin's right in that it's very much a like, I guess it could just be a straight replacement for Warpath, which is pretty cool. So that'll be interesting to see as well, if that's how it actually ends up being used. Even with Zero, it's just like another Zero target. Even if Zero, I don't know. I feel like as a Zero target's kind of average. There's probably better things that you can hit with Zero. But time will tell. We've still got a few cards to get through. We'll get through all of them. Podcast is it's not going too long yet, which is fine. Wonder what happened to Justin. Get him to tell us what happened. I'm very curious. Because we've had disconnect issues before, but it's usually like, 20 seconds, not like not like completely dead. He did get a new PC recently. Maybe his PC actually died. Maybe it's not his internet. We'll find out. There we go. He's back. Yo.
All right, I'm back.
He's back. What happened? Did your whole computer crash?
My internet just like just like crapped itself. I don't know.
Nice. Do you want to give me your webcam?
Yes.
And then we'll continue. We were just vibing. I was just going through the cards.
That's all right.
It was so funny because you froze and I'm like, he'll be back in a second. And then you went offline. I'm like, oh no, this is a lot worse.
My whole internet just shut down.
This is a lot worse than I thought it was.
Sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right.
Few technical difficulties.
The beauty of technology is I can cut it all out. Cool. So
that's true.
Atuma, yep. So Atuma, I guess he just goes like straight into a destroy deck. Like I guess Warpath replacement and Zero target doesn't seem as good, but I guess it can be used like that as well.
Yep.
Next up we have Orca. Again, this is actually a cool card because it's kind of like a Namor as well. 6 cost card, 9 power, ongoing, +5 power if this is your only card here. So are we going Namor at one location? We're going a Tuma at the second location and Orca at the third, and you just don't play any other cards.
Uh,
No.
yeah, I
Yeah.
guess.
So Orca gets to 14 power, but it is a 6 cost card. 14 power's okay. Like, I think, like, what? You've got, what, 14 power Agatha with, like, pretty crazy condition.
Yeah,
Hulk is 12 naturally, though. So you're only getting +2 power on Hulk.
it is pretty cool though because 14 power is enough to win a location, and especially like if you're at turn 5 and you have
An empty
no
one.
cards,
Yeah.
no cards at a certain location, your opponent probably won't commit more cards there because they won't think it's necessary. They could be at like 10 or 10 to 12 power
Yep.
or something, and then you just drop an Orca there and you win it.
It's true.
It's cool, but like I can't see it just fitting into every deck.
I think what you said is like a pretty, like, is probably how it would be used. Either you get it out cheaper, or like say you're like winning 2 locations, so your opponent's going to fight for those, and you play Orca at the third location that your opponent's winning, and Orca wins it on his own. So even if they steal one of those other 2 locations, like, they might go really hard into the second location, and then you win the third and the first with Orca. So I guess that's probably a way to use it. I don't know exactly what deck it fits into, being a 6 cost card. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting because I feel like 6 cost cards generally are like, a win condition or like a build around.
Spectrum, Onslaught, Odin,
Yeah.
whereas Orca's like playing Orca. Like, if Orca was a 5 cost card, I'd say amazing. 100% you play it. But at 6, it seems like, because like, I don't know. Because say you went really hard into one location, and then you like Orca turn 5, and then you can like Taskmaster it or Arnim Zola. Like, not being able to do that makes it seem kind of like you need to be winning the other locations for this to be good.
Yeah, but I feel like you can be winning the other locations because you're ignoring the location that you're going to play this at.
I guess so. Yeah, Yep. But hear me out.
It's decent. It's not amazing.
What happens when your opponent gets to like 15 at a location? Orca just becomes a dead card.
It becomes a dead card.
That's the thing. I guess. And the thing is,
it becomes a Jarvis.
I see it ongoing and think like, oh, you could like Spectrum, but if you play this on turn 6, you're not playing Spectrum. Whereas if it was a 5 cost card, I think it's amazing. At 6, I don't think it's that great. I mean, you just play a Hulk. Right. You play a Hulk for 2 less power with no conditions.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think you're right. It's not amazing. It's like it's just okay. I'm sure there'll be decks that will find the right fit for it, but you can't just it can't just replace every 6 drop in like any deck.
Yeah. So Orca, interesting. We'll see what happens. Galactus. Now, if you've been playing Marvel Snap for a while, you've probably seen Galactus in action because he can get added to your hand through abilities like Agent 13. And I think X-Mansion can bring it out. So
so is this is Series 5 now, right?
Oh, yes, sorry, you are correct, Justin. So that is all the Series 4 cards. These are the rare cards, 2.5% chance in collector's cases. We're now moving on to the 6 cards in Series 5. These are going to be much harder to get, but they're going to be some pretty powerful cards by the looks of it. Galactus, of course. We've seen Galactus in games if you've been playing for a while, but we'll go through what he does. 6 cost card, 3 power. On reveal, if this is your only card here, destroy all other locations. Now, obviously Galactus, when it gets pulled out by like X-Mansion or something like that, if its ability activates, it's activating early. Obviously, if you're playing Galactus on turn 6, it's only 3 power. It has to be the only card there. Destroys all the other locations. If your opponent has 5 power there, you just automatically lose. So, Justin, how would you actually use Galactus in a deck?
Yeah, so I was looking at Galactus and I was trying to understand what use he actually has. And went through a few things. So like I think if you play him on turn 6, you cannot win with just Galactus. Like you actually just can't win if you're just playing Galactus on turn 6, I don't think. So you got to cheat him out. You can't cheat him out with Jubilee because then he's not the only card at that location and his effect doesn't go off.
For sure.
So I thought that maybe you just put him into a Mr. Negative deck.
Okay, 3
I
power,
I was thinking
3
you
cost.
go for Psylocke turn 2.
Yep.
Mr. Negative turn 3. Then if you can get Galactus out, you play him at a location.
You still got to remember, you'd have to draw him that next turn to get him out on turn 4.
You would have to draw him, but hear me out. If you play a bunch of 0 power cards, right, like Iron Man and whatever, then you Mr. Negative.
Yep.
Then you have Lady Thor in the deck.
That's
right?
a 5 cost.
That is a 5 cost. But if you at some stage, you can play Lady Thor, which draws out all of the 0 costs, right? If you somehow get Galactus then on turn 6, even if it's turn 6, then you play Galactus on an empty location, then you can still play all the 0 costs there. I don't know. Like,
is that how it works though?
That.
If you play Galactus and then other cards at the location, I don't think it will activate.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so I think the best play. I'm trying to think how else you cheat it. I think it's just Psylocke turn 4, Galactus turn 5, and then Swarm it on turn 6.
Yeah.
But then you're giving your opponent agency to play stuff there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a great card. I'm sure there'll be a deck that comes out where like, oh, okay, that's how you play it.
I think I think as long as you have ways to cheat it, I think it's more of a fun card over like, hey, this is going to be the meta deck or anything. But I can guarantee people are going to be theory crafting with this card all the way up until it releases and onwards. Maybe we'll get some we'll have a look at some Galactus lists and check some out next week if we find any spicy ones. But Galactus, we already kind of have seen him a little bit. Next up, we've got Valkyrie, 5 cost card, 3 power. On reveal, set all cards at this location to 3 power. Thoughts?
First thing that comes to mind is just it synergizes with Silver Surfer. No,
it does not.
I keep thinking about this wrong.
Yeah, it's 3 cost cards.
It synergizes perfect with Cerebro.
I mean, yes, you could. I don't think that's how you'd play it because you it'd be too like try and
but
set
Valkyrie
them all to 3.
Itself is also a 5/3.
So but then would you not just play 3 power cards? Although there's not a lot of them.
Yeah, there's not a lot of them. But
I guess you could play like more powerful cards. I see this go into a Khazar deck, to be honest, because it like Valkyrie would I guess it's like a worse blue Marvel in that all your 2 cost cards would go to 3. But the benefit is you could win a location that your opponent is really strong at. So like say your opponent fills the board with 4 cards and you just turn them all to 3 power, they get 12.
Yeah.
You could just win that location pretty easily. I don't think it's an amazing card. The reason is because you're really only doing work at one location.
I think you're right though. It's just you would drop 3, 1 or 2 drops or whatever. I think the good thing is that they would keep their abilities. So you could have like an Ant-Man or I don't know.
So Ant-Man now gets to what does he normally get to? 5 power?
To 4 power. 4 power, isn't he?
Doesn't he get plus 3? Power. Oh, he's a 1/1 and he gets plus 3. So he'd now get to 6 power? No.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
He gets to 6 power instead. I think it's going to be interesting. I don't think it's at first I thought it was a really, really good card, but then I realized that you're only really fighting for one location and it's a 5 cost.
That's not amazing.
I'm sure there's some synergies, but I don't know yet. Nothing comes to mind straight away. So, we'll leave it at that for Valkyrie. We've got Super Scroll. Now, interesting card, 4 cost, 2 power, ongoing, has the ongoing effects of all enemy cards. Now, our friend is super excited for this card. I actually don't think it's a good card. I had arguments about why, and it was kind of like, but you don't steal them. That's the thing. You just copy them. So your opponent still has all those effects. You're getting a 2 power card with those effects. Now, if they have something like Patriot, not going to help you. If they have something like, I don't know, Onslaught, but you're just copying the Onslaught and copying the ongoing effects that they already have. Yes, it's one card, so you can fill that location with other ongoing cards, I guess. Like if you stole, I don't know, an Onslaught or something. But there's so many ongoing cards that are just terrible abilities. Like Ebony Maw, you do not want to steal that. Lizard, you don't want to steal that. What else is there? Like Red Skull, Typhoid Mary. You don't want to steal any of these abilities. So I don't know. I feel like it could do. Here's my thing. There's going to be some crazy like screenshot games where they end up at like a crazy amount of power because they copied Omega Red and Onslaught, and then they played Onslaught and Mystique, and it's just going to be something stupid with Iron Man. I don't know. But I think as like to win and be competitive, I don't think the card's that good.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. Like you will be able to get some crazy numbers because you'll be able to copy Iron Man and play your own Iron Man at the same location. You know what I mean? And Onslaught and whatever Mystique, but like, it's not. I don't think it's consistent. You can't rely on it game in game out to win your games.
I just thought of something. It says has the ongoing effects of all enemy cards, not at the location. All enemy cards. Okay?
Yep.
It's pretty good. Hear me out. I just thought of why this can be good. Think like say they play Iron Man, they play Onslaught, they like do a bunch of stuff. You play Super Skrull, you take all of those abilities, and then you like Arnim Zola and have him at 2 locations with all of those abilities.
Yeah, but like, what are the abilities going to achieve for
what if you go Super Skrull Mystique and you copy Super Skrull and all of those ongoing abilities? If that's how it works. Like say it's Iron Man, Onslaught. Oh yeah, but I guess he's only 2 power.
Like like it's don't get me wrong, it's good. And you can do some crazy stuff, it's just not reliable.
No, I think you're right. You'll be able to do crazy stuff, but like I think say they play an on reveal deck. It's just a dead card.
Yeah, so if if like the decks that you're saying, like Super Skrull and Mystique or Super Skrull and Arnim Zola, if you are relying on that, like if that's your win condition, then it's a bad deck.
I think this
because you're hoping that your opponent plays ongoing cards.
I think this is going to be a super fun card, and there's going to be some fun decks to play with it. But yeah, I think it's like an Agatha. It's like fun, and it does some stupid stuff. But like you're not going to play this to like rank up every season.
No, I don't think so.
Or like try and win a game against your friend when that mode comes out. Yeah, cool. Super Skrull. We've got Shuri. We've already seen this card in data mining. It's a 4-cost card, 2 power on reveal, double the power of the next card you play. It's just essentially the location, Shuri's lab, but on a card. We had that as the featured location for Black Panther season. You play Black Panther here, it's going to go crazy. But then again, it's kind of like, I guess you play Wong to activate on reveals, but if you're using Shuri to just buff power, I mean, it's pretty good. Like I think of like Deadpool.
Yeah, it's good.
Like think you get a
I just feel like you're trying to go tall instead of wide.
Yeah, but you just Arnim Zola.
Yeah. Arnim Zola can't be the key to every deck. But I know what you mean.
Taskmaster, Deadpool, get Deadpool to some stupid number, and then turn 6, like you turn 5, you destroy it, and you destroy Shuri as well with like a Venom or a Carnage. And we've seen this combo so many times. This just enables it a bit more. And then you go like, and you can have Black Panther in the deck as well. Like your backup can be Shuri, Black Panther, Taskmaster, or Shuri, Black Panther, Arnim Zola, kind of like Wong. You can have Wong in there the deck as well. And then like you could go Deadpool at like, 16, 32 power and then Taskmaster it. All on turn 6.
Yeah.
I think it's going to help decks. I think it helps a Deadpool Venom deck again. Black Panther, obviously.
I think it goes well probably with an on reveal deck. It can probably slot straight in there.
I think it's a good card, but I think it's
good, but
limited use.
Yes, definitely. For a 4 cost, you're relying on that next turn to be massive.
But it's Wong. It's just Wong, but instead of double the on reveal, you double the power. It's the exact same.
Yeah, but
Four
with
cost, 2 power.
with Wong, it enables stuff like, double White Tiger or a
Yeah,
double.
but I think that's the point. I think instead of playing those cards, you're going to rely on like Deadpool. You're going to rely on Venom. You're going to rely on. I guess it doesn't work with Venom because Venom would destroy it before it doubles the power. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? It can be decent. I'm thinking of stuff like Red Skull
Yeah.
or Typhoid Mary.
Like even like a Hulk here, like 24 power. Like even if that's
Yeah.
like your end game to win that last location, I get what you're saying. It's limited use. It's not like some of these other cards where it can fit into a lot of decks. It's probably limited in what you can use it for. All right,
Definitely.
yeah, for sure. All right, and then we've got Bast. 1 cost, 1 power. On reveal, set the power of all cards in your hand to 3. I think this is good. This is the discussion we just had with Valkyrie. You could just set all the cards in your hand to 3 for Cerebro. Like there's combos there. But I think just again playing a zoo deck, this fits in good because you buff all your cards to 3. Like let's assume you're playing Ant-Man, you're playing like all these low powered 1 cost cards. You buff them with Bast turn 1. He's also a 1 cost card, so he's gonna get buffed by Kazar. And then all of those cards are now 3 power instead of 1 and 2.
Yeah, I can see that.
So like your Ant-Man is now getting to 6? All of your 2 cost cards become I know they're 2 power already and they're now just becoming 3, but that's for all the cards in your hand. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's also
when you do the math, I guess if you've got it in a Kazoo deck and you've got Ant-Man and a couple of other like 1 or 2 powered cards, you're essentially you're using 1 energy and you're getting like, what do you start with? 4 cards in hand, so 3 other cards. You're getting like plus, I don't know, 3 or 4, maybe 5 power in your hand, which is pretty good.
This is weird, but Cerebro's 0 power, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, if you get all of these to 3 power, could you then Cerebro them 2? Like, you could? Yeah. Oh, but Kazar would only be at 4, so Kazar would steal it. Yeah, you couldn't play Kazar, though.
Yeah, but if Kazar is already in hand, then he just goes to a 3. Like, you lose an energy with Big Whoop, and then you also play Valkyrie in the deck. So then if you play Kazar, then you can change his power to 3 or any other power
on turn
to
5.
3, like at the location on turn 5.
Is this a spicy Cerebro deck?
could be okay.
Ooh,
put like Mystique in there as well. Like,
but I actually think Bast will be good in like a zoo deck. I actually think it will be like cool. And last up, sort of, is Thanos. 6 cost, 8 power. At the start of the game, shuffle the 6 Infinity Stones into your deck. Now, Thanos, nothing special about him, but we have to go through the Infinity Stones. They're shuffling into your deck, so you already have a 12-card deck. So you're now going to have, 18 cards?
2, 4, 6, yeah.
It makes your deck a lot less consistent. And we've seen this, Hearthstone have done something recently where they've added a card that lets you build 40-card decks instead of 30. And you get 40 health instead of 30 health. And you go, wait, you get more cards and more health. But the thing is, the more cards in deck means you're less likely to draw the ones you need. So that's kind of what Thanos is going to do. You're going to be less likely to draw the cards you need sometimes. But Mind Stone, 1/1, 1 cost, 1 power. On reveal, draw 2 stones from your deck. Pretty good. The Power Stone, 1 power, 1 cost, 3 power. Ongoing, if you played all 6 stones, Thanos has plus 10 power wherever he is, so even if he's in deck. So that gets Thanos to what? 18?
Yeah, 18.
Unlikely,
pretty good.
But pretty good. Reality Stone, 1/1. On reveal, transform this location into a new one, draw a card. So I guess it's like a Scarlet Witch and you draw a card.
Yeah.
Helping you get stones. Soul Stone, on reveal, 1/1 as well. On reveal, draw a card. Ongoing, enemy cards you have -1 power. So again, drawing a card, your opponent's cards have a -1. It's fine. Space Stone, On reveal, it's a 1/1 as well. On reveal, next turn you can move one card at this location, draw a card. I guess if you're losing a location, you could move something out of there. And then the Time Stone, also a 1/1. On reveal, gain 1 energy next turn, draw a card. So
Yeah.
they all seem to be helping you draw through your deck, so that's going to alleviate having those extra cards in there a little bit. They're all 1 power, so they're cheap to, 1 cost, so they're all cheap to play. They're all 1 power except for the Power Stone, which I guess makes sense, which is 3 power. What's your thoughts on the stones? What's your favorite stone? What do you think about Thanos?
I think I absolutely love Thanos. Not like as a character, I'm saying. Thanos is like one of the best villains, maybe in like just like all-time movies. Like he's one of the best villains. I reckon he's awesome.
What? That you cannot say that. You're just wrong.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, and also, Infinity War was my favorite movie of the MCU.
Yep.
And Thanos had a big role to play there. Anyway, that's besides the point.
Yes.
I think Thanos is cool. I really want Thanos to work, although I'm not sure that he can. My main reason is because how many slots are available for you to play cards at? 3 locations, 4 each. That's 12 cards that you can play.
So you're assuming you're going to play 6 stones?
The stones, you have to play like 6 stones and Thanos, which is like cards. 7, like that. Which means that the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Thanos is you must play Thanos with Falcon and Beast in deck, so you can pick the stones back up, because the Power Stone says if you've played all 6 stones, Thanos has plus 10 power.
It's ongoing.
Okay, regardless, I think that you need to be able to pick these stones back up and play them again for less cost.
So the Mind Stone will draw 2 stones from you, but the cost won't go down because they're already 1 power. I don't think they go to 0, do they?
Beast picks the cards up at that location and puts them back in your hand for 1 less cost.
Okay, and it's not to a minimum of 1.
No, and Falcon just picks up
all your 1 cost cards. Yes.
Yeah. So I think like you must play those 2 cards with Thanos.
I get what you're saying, because you don't want to fill them. Yep.
You don't want to fill all the locations, and like, I just feel like it's such a. You're tying yourself up really by playing all these stones. You're really limiting yourself.
It's gonna be so fun though. Think when it works and you play all the stones and you get Thanos out and you win, and you just like, there's gonna be, I kid you not, Marvel Snap have 100% already done this. There's gonna be some cool animation when Thanos wins, when all 6 stones get played. Something crazy is going to happen. Thanos is going to like appear and like he's going to put on the Infinity Gauntlet. That's 100% what's going to happen. Oh man, maybe
he snaps.
Like, I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy this card, even though it's not the best one, just because I need to know.
All right, here's the massive problem with this.
All right.
Pulling this off does not guarantee you the win.
Yes.
Like, you're just getting a massive 18 power Thanos at one location, but that does not guarantee you a win.
Yeah, like if this was like Exodia and you draw the 6 stones and you win, it's
and
like
you
sick.
Win, like, whoa, yeah. But like
but okay, but hear me out. All right, so you play the Mind Stone. So you get Mind Stone turn 1. You draw 2 stones. You now have 3 stones in your hand. Yep.
Well, 2 stones in your hand at least.
Oh, but you've played 3.
Oh,
you've got 3 so far. You've seen 3 on turn 1.
Yeah.
So then you only need for the next 5 turns to see the other 3, and they're all drawing cards. I actually think getting all 6 out isn't as far-fetched as you think, but do you win? That's the question.
Yeah, it's not as far-fetched as we think, but do you win?
Do you win?
Because
this does nothing. So Mind Stone does nothing.
Mind Stone draw 2 cards,
so
that's
no power.
Cool.
No power.
You need 2 stones.
But you're not getting power, okay?
No.
Power Stone. 3 power, so we're now at 4 power potentially.
Yes.
So you can play another card. Oh, you can play both of them.
10 power, but that's for Thanos, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so we can play all 3. So turn 1, Mind Stone. Turn 2, you play 2 more stones. Yep.
Yep.
So we're now at turn 3, and we've played 3 stones. This is drawing us a card. So Soul Stone, we draw a card again, but enemy cards here have -1 power. Not doing a whole lot for you.
No.
Space Stone. Next turn, you can move a card at this location. I mean, you could move space. You could move a stone out. You could move a card out. Yeah, okay. Time stone on reveal, gain an energy next turn. Draw a card, so you're getting a card again. I feel like getting them out's the easy part. It's what do you pair with Thanos to actually win?
Yeah, you look. The first thing I can think of is with a time stone, you can get Thanos out on turn 5.
Yep.
That means that you can Taskmaster turn 6.
Wait, what if you?
But-
yeah. Wait, what if
Like,
you?
you know what I mean? And
yeah.
then you have 2 18 power
Yep.
beasts, but also that's one very tiny win condition
Yeah.
for. Like, there's not a lot of consistency.
What if you-
It's such a cool idea.
What if you Valkyrie turn 5 to turn all your stones to 3 power and all your opponent's cards to 3 power, so you draw? You draw
Oh.
the location.
That's really cool. Just
I don't
going
think
back
that
to
helps, though.
Valkyrie, does that change your opponent's cards to 3 power as well?
Set all cards at this location. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's your opponent's at that location as well. So if you're getting buffed and their cards are like cards that don't get buffs, then it's good.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it's, again, it's only winning one location. Yeah. So
Yeah,
Thanos. It's going to be fun.
Thanos.
It's going to be cool to see what we can do with it. It's not going to be consistent, but that doesn't matter because it'll be fun.
I'm keen to go through some deck ideas.
Yeah, so how about we'll get some Thanos decks, we'll get some Galactus decks for next week, because they're the
Yeah.
cards that I guess people are most excited for and looking into. And if we find any other great uses of these cards, we'll talk about them next week. The patch should have dropped by then, which will be interesting.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. And we'll try and get a guest on for next week as well. We're trying to get like a guest every fortnight. So we'll try and get a content creator of Marvel Snap on next week. It'd be interesting to get their thoughts as well. Probably someone that's playing the game a lot more than us. And, they're, very heavily involved in the community. So that would be interesting as well. But I think that's all for the cards this week. We had a bunch of other topics, but I think like we've just been through so much this week. I don't want to bog the podcast down too much because we're getting pretty far into it. But of course, we need to play everyone's favorite quiz game, Snap Who. Justin, you've chosen a location for me to guess this week. Is that correct?
I have chosen a location for you. I've sent that image to you.
Yep.
I think you've
I'm
got
going to
it.
bring it up. All right, here it is. Okay, so we've got the location up on screen. Guys, if you are listening to the podcast, the audio version, I'm going to describe what I am looking at right now. Okay, so it's like we're obviously like in space, like we're on like a planet in space. There's like a lot of brass. There's some big statues. I can see a planet in the background. There's some big like bronze brass buildings. Whew. I'm really awful with locations. This is like there's like a space sky. So we're obviously somewhere in space. Are we in space, Justin?
I'm actually just looking up
What it
the
is?
background,
Oh, okay.
the background to this place because
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure what it is.
Right. Look, I don't even know what this is. I couldn't even tell you what the ability is. Could you give me? Oh, you know what? No, I don't think that's what it is. This isn't my answer, but I guess Weird World comes into my head, but no, I don't think that's what it is. Do you have a clue at all that could help me? Guys, for those that don't know, Snap Who, I have to guess the name of this location and what the location's ability actually is. I've got no idea. I wonder if
I don't think this helps you at all, but just for a bit of background on this place. So it's a planet, right? And it's the home world of the Kree. So the Kree is like
I know who the Kree are.
From Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah, I know who the Kree are.
I don't think that helps you because I don't remember this being mentioned at all. But I can give you a key word.
The Kree's home world.
It's the Kree's home world. I can give you a key word that may help you.
Okay.
That is in the text of this location.
Okay.
And that key word is destroy.
Destroy.
Yeah.
Damn. Destroy. Now there's obviously when a card is played here it gets destroyed, but that's not this because that's Death's Domain. Destroy. Oh, when a card moves here. When a card moves here, it's destroyed. That is an ability. What other destroy locations do we have? I think that's the only other one, isn't it? All right. I actually can't think of anything else. I'm gonna lock in when a card moves here, it's destroyed, and the name of the location.
The
So-
name is super hard because the ability or the description you can kind of come up with sometimes, but the name is like, what do I even
so
say?
here's my thing. There's
Yeah.
some locations that I just ignore, and this is one of them because, like, how often is your opponent playing like a Magneto Arrow deck? Like, I mean, Arrow's coming up a lot more these days, but I kind of just go, I'm not moving cards, they're not moving cards, so I don't care. So I don't actually think you're probably gonna tell me, and I'm not even gonna know that that's a location. And you know what's funny? Because I'm like this in every game. Like every card game I play, I can like look at a card and be like, this is what it does, but I don't know what the name of the card is. I know exactly what the
Yeah.
card does, but I don't actually get names don't stick in my head, which is awful. Because then when people are like, oh yeah, you know this card, and I go, oh, what does it do? Then they tell me what it does. I'm like, yeah, I know that card. I just didn't know what it was called. All right, that's the ability I'm going with. When a card moves here, it's destroyed. And I'm going with it's not Weird World, but I can't actually think of anything else. No, it can't be Weird World because that's not what Weird World does. It's
Yeah, that's not what we do.
it's yeah. Oh man, I actually have no idea. It's Klin. No, that's the one that no, that's not it. I know what that location does. That's no, I got no idea. What is it?
All right, so you're saying that when the cards are destroyed when they move here?
Yeah, it's not going to be that, is it?
That's incorrect.
What other destroy locations do we
Yeah,
have?
so you're thinking of Fisk Tower. So
Oh, that
this
is Fisk Tower, of course.
Yeah, so this is actually a bit more relevant. I feel like you would definitely need to play around this location. So
What is it?
the location name is Hala,
Oh,
Hala,
yeah, Hala, yeah,
and
yeah.
the description is after turn 4,
Destroy
destroy
all-
all cards
yeah.
controlled by the player losing here.
Yes. I know the name, but I was never guessing this. It's such an interesting artwork for what the ability is. Like,
Yeah,
I do play around this. I never play cards there.
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I don't know. I tried to pick like a more simple one.
Nah, you know
when I
why
was
that's a
looking
tough
through
one?
them, because I feel like I know this location. Like when
Yeah.
I see it, it's very distinct from some of the others.
It
Like
is.
it's got different colors.
But see, it doesn't give me, without you telling me the destroy thing, it doesn't give me destroy vibes at all. Like,
Yeah, it's a bit bright.
that's a nice looking city.
Yeah,
Like obviously
true.
when you say like the Kree, like I guess, yeah, like it kind of fits a little better, but still very, yeah, it was a tough one. I'm going to be awful with locations. So that is 0 points
Yeah.
for me. Great start with with my first go at locations in Snap Who. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Justin, before we finish, did you have any last words about the patch and all the new cards that we're getting?
I'm just super keen for the patch to come out. I think they hinted that it may come out early this week, which is like,
Yep.
hopefully tomorrow. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. It literally could be tomorrow. But like this,
Yeah.
it could drop. So yeah, like it could drop before the episode comes out on podcasts,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
podcast apps.
Yeah, I'm keen. I'm keen to see it drop. I think it'll bring a bit more life into the game. We didn't really go through the meta, but I just think that the meta is kind of I don't think it's stale, but I just think that the game could use a bit of a pick me up, especially for the like older players, like the beta players.
For sure.
So I think this will bring a bit of life into the game. And yeah, I'm super keen for it.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. It's going to be really refreshing. We're going to see, we're going to get new cards as players, and then our opponents are going to have cards that we don't have yet. It's going to be great to see all the new deck ideas. Tons of deck building going to be happening. We'll grab some deck lists to discuss next week. Hopefully, if the patch has dropped, we'll actually be able to see some of these decks in action. So we might actually have some, personal experience, or be able to, see some content creators playing these decks. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're here live with us, and thank you for listening. I really appreciate all the support. Again, all the links to things we've discussed today, decks, deck lists, things like that, will be on our Twitter at InfiniteSnapPod. Twitter is still currently alive, and I'm convinced that it's going to stay that way for the foreseeable future. It is not dead yet. Justin, thanks so much for joining us as always. I'll catch you next week.
Thank you. See you next week.
See you guys.
Bye.